Matt, first of all, welcome back to Cardiff.
Thank you. Good to be back.
We haven't caught up with you since playoff final weekend, and I've got to ask you about the goal that many fans are saying is one of the best goals the Cardiff Devils have ever scored. That one that you were involved with Lingley in the semi-final. That
Yeah.
your source of pass that cut out two guys, and then that beautiful backhand shot. What do you remember about that?
Oh, well, it was a great play by Schistel as well. They were doing a change, and so they only had one guy out on the ice, and everybody else went for the bench. And I noticed, and I didn't have to yell for it because I noticed that Schistel saw it as well. So he just turned and ripped it right up. Perfect pass off the boards. And yeah, I think as soon as I picked it up and stepped into the blue line, two or three guys kind of stopped and came towards me. Lingley was coming in full speed, and I just knew I had to get it through three defenders' sticks,
Yep.
and luckily it made it through and landed right in front of him, and he handled it somehow and managed to just catch and release in what I thought must have been an inch worth of room. I didn't even think it had a chance of going in. I was turning to go get the rebound in the corner, and all of a sudden I saw it disappear, and he put his hands up. So I couldn't believe it. It was definitely one of the nicest goals I've seen.
I was going to say you're a seasoned pro. You've been playing hockey a long time. When a goal like that goes in and you're on the ice, you still get kind of that excitement of a kid scoring a great goal.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can see Bryce Reddick's face. He was just like so surprised and amazed, like, wow. So yeah, anytime anyone scores a highlight reel goal like that, it's still exciting.
And then there was a highlight reel goal to win the final, which you were involved in. And I suppose anytime you see Gleason Fournier going to the net and in full steam, you just want to get the puck to him.
Yeah, that's the first time I think he's ever passed it when he does those coast to coast. I was just thinking, okay, I'll stay out of his way and watch him do his thing. But he made a good play. They tried to pinch him off, so he dished it to me, and I was wide open because I'm pretty sure they did a scouting report and said anytime Fournier picks up the puck and wheels full speed, everybody go at him. So yeah, he gave it to me and kept his feet moving, and I just waited until there was a gap, and he once again he had such a quick catch and release, put it right between the legs, and I don't think anybody was expecting it to go that fast from my tape to his tape in the back of the net. So again, that was just such an exciting goal, especially the moment that it came. I think even a garbage goal, as they say at that moment, would have made us jump around, but because it was such a nice goal like that, it was one that I'll never forget for sure. I know Gleason won't either.
Um, I'm going to get an awkward one done early, and I appreciate if this is no comment. Everyone who pays to come and watch a hockey match is entitled to a constructive opinion, and Devils fans have them. And maybe at some point last season, a few were aimed at you, and you engaged with them. I just wanted to get your personal take on how last season went for you.
Well, we won, so it went great. You can't ask for much more than winning another championship. I mean, there's a lot of teams in the league, and only one can win. And I think some people forget that and kind of take for granted the wins that we get, especially at home. I think there was an 8-week span near the end of the year that we didn't lose at home. So, I mean, I'm a hockey fan as well. I'm a Canucks fan. So there were times where they were top of the league and everyone's just riding high, and then there's times where they're not making playoffs, and you just have to go with it. And I mean, everyone can complain here and there, but yeah, I think not even this past season, but 2 years ago when people came after a couple of my teammates, you know, I was lucky enough to have a great personal season 2 years ago, so everyone was just saying great things about me, but coming after a couple of my teammates, I don't find that cool at all. So yeah, I kind of said something. It's just, you know, if you're going to call yourself a fan of a sport, let alone a team, you're allowed to have your opinions and complain, but keep the nasty stuff to yourself or between you and your mates, and not posting it on Twitter, especially tagging some of the players in it. But I think it's more of a UK type of thing, the hooligan style of football fans. I've played in, I don't even know how many countries, seven different countries around the world, all over Europe, North America, and Asia. And from talking to everyone else that's played everywhere else as well, no one's really encountered fans like this before that are so negative sometimes, and it's tough on the players. It's tough on the coaches. Where I know Andrew's come in a few times and said everyone just stay off social media, and it's kind of a shame when you have to do that. And you look at Bounds right now. I saw someone post a highlight of Bounds in the World Championships, all of his saves, and then they said it's hard to imagine that his own fans of his team 2 years ago didn't even want him, and now it's like everyone around Europe saying, "Wow, this goalie is amazing," and he's just a great guy too. So, yeah, there's pros and cons to having super fans, but if you're going to be a fan, just be a fan, I think.
And for the most part, playing in front of 3,000 people here in Ice Arena Wales, the experience is more of a positive, I assume.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm a type of guy that likes to make a big hit, and every time I make a big hit, you can just hear everyone go nuts. The whole building erupts, and every time somebody scores a goal, everybody goes nuts. It's really nice to have the atmosphere like that, especially since I've played in places. I played in San Antonio where the arena held like 19,000 people, and we got about 2,000, so it just felt empty. But the atmosphere here is amazing, and when they're loud, they're loud. And I will say that our traveling fans are probably the best I've ever seen. We find that most of the time we're on the road, and we hear our fans louder than the home team fans. So that's something that means a lot to us, and we feel that playing the games on the road.
So it's year 3 in Cardiff. As you say, you're a little bit of a serial winner here in Cardiff now. 2 playoff titles, a league title. How do you, and again, I don't want to use the term veteran, but you're a slightly older guy. How do you keep the motivation going? How do you keep that will to win going?
Well, I'm a veteran, self-proclaimed veteran.
Self-proclaimed veteran, okay.
Well, yeah, I thought about that last year because when you're coming back after a championship, quite often there's a lull where, well, you see it a lot in the NHL, the Stanley Cup champions. Not very many times does someone like Pittsburgh come out and win 2 in a row. It does happen, but quite often guys either move on to bigger and better things. We saw it with Vacqua. They were phenomenal 2 years ago, and last year they're still good. They're in one of the best leagues in the world, but it was a big difference because a lot of their players went somewhere else. If you win, your entire team is targeted, and that's what they tell you back home when you're in the AHL. If you win, 90% of you are going to get NHL contracts just because you're on that winning team. It's hard to find a team of winners because it's not just about having good players. It's about guys that are willing to go the extra mile, make the sacrifice, and get that win. Like I said, only one team can win. Every league has a lot of good teams. So it's sought after. So you end up losing a lot of guys, but I find that the culture here, the staff, and everything behind the scenes is so good that it makes guys want to come back. And Lordo is amazing at not allowing you to have a lull. He's, we won the championship and guys want to take time off, and after 2 weeks of vacation, we're still banged up and bruised, and some guys are waiting to get scans, and he's saying, "Hey, I got the gym. We're going to the gym at 8:30 in the morning, then we're going on the ice after," and we're just like, "Wow, okay, here we go again." And I think it's...
So he sets the tone?
Yeah, it takes a leadership like that to make sure that guys don't say, "Well, we've won last year, or we've won 2 years in a row, or we've won 3 years in a row. Like, let's take it easy, and we can't do any wrong." You have to keep remembering, and he doesn't let you forget that it takes everything from the moment the season ends till the moment the season ends the next year without taking a break, without, taking any time off. So it comes from the top down, but I think the guys we've got in the room hold each other accountable, and if anybody took anything for granted, I think we'd hear about it.
I don't want to drag your time out too much, but just for my own hockey education, I wanted to ask you, you're a forward who's a key guy on the power play, playing back end. What's kind of your remit there? Is it just to get shots through, dish the puck, and also then if the play breaks down, I guess you've got to kick into a defensive mindset.
Yeah, not to get scored on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of give and take, especially being out there with Gleason, who's a very offensive guy. Normally, if one guy jumps in and takes a chance and he gets it poked off of him, there's a guy back there no matter what. But there was a couple times this year where Gleason or myself were already in, and then the other guy took a chance and tried to jump in and stop the play. And Lordo gets angry, I will say, at that. And I think it happened to me once this year, and after the reaction that I got from Lordo, I told myself that's never going to happen again. And I'm genuinely conscious of making sure that I keep in the back of my head that I'm a defenseman out there. And yeah, when he asked me when I got here where I play on the power play, I told him pretty much anywhere over the years I've played wherever I'm needed. And he asked, have you played the point before? And I said, yeah, for a couple of years I was on the point on the power play. And it's been going well. It's working really well. Gleason and I really work well together. And I think we've learned to read off each other. If one guy's going in, the other has to stay back. So we've progressed. I mean, it's been 2 years now that him and I have been together on the power play. But our power play has always done well offensively. I think we've got a really high percentage. And now, after Lordo's yelling, we're more conscious of getting scored on or giving up any chances on the power play as well.
Just finally, Matt, I know it's a cliche question, but I thought Josh Batch said it well in his interview. The desire was obviously there last year, it always is, but the fact that you didn't win the league and the fact that Belfast took it, a very good Belfast team, does it raise the motivation level another notch? Is it, as Josh phrased it, almost a new challenge?
Yeah, they were a really good challenge all year. It showed at the end of the year when the two of us were tied up at the top of the table and there was quite a big gap to the third place team. I got a couple friends on that team and they work hard, they work well together. And when we got hot and it seemed like we were running away with the league, they kept winning. We would win another game and think, okay, we've got to have a little bit of a gap now. And then we'd see, oh man, they won as well. And good on them. They worked hard. They're tough to play against. And I think coming down to what it came down to at the end, it was heartbreaking, especially when it was a tie and we lost on a statistic off the ice. I think going into playoffs, we wanted to play them. It might have been a little easier had we played someone else, but we wanted to play them. And when we got to, we all thought, this is our chance, a little bit of redemption. We're going to show them and everyone else that we may be the two top teams, but we wanted to be the better. And in a one game series, which is what the finals is, it comes down to a bounce here and there or a battle here and there. So we went into that game knowing that there's no game 2, there's nothing. This is game 7. This is it. Mm-hmm. And it was a great motivation. I don't think anyone had to say anything. We all knew that this was our shot and we had to do it. There was no excuse if we didn't.
Matt, it's always a pleasure talking to you. On behalf of the Devils fans and the organisation, welcome back to Cardiff.
Oh, thank you very much.